College basketball stock report. Who is rising and who is falling after week 2? College basketball featured an electric slate of games on Friday evening. A shrewd move by the sport to avoid competing against college football and the NFL while the seasons overlap. Friday featured 2 top 15 teams squaring off in Alabama and Purdue, a top 10 team in Arizona, on the road against Wisconsin, and a top 15 team in Marquette on the road in College Park against Maryland. The home atmosphere at those games was a good sight to see, rather than the tepid crowds fans often see at neutral site arenas like T-Mobile in Las Vegas or the Sanford Pentagon in Sioux Falls, ST. This week of games saw a handful of teams boost their stock, and others go the wrong direction, as the season enters the third week and closes in on Thanksgiving matchups after that. Mark Pope and Kentucky picked up a massive win in the Champions Classic on Sunday over the No. 6 ranked Duke Blue Devils. Kentucky was down 9 at halftime, but stormed back to score 40 second-half points for the victory, led by Wake Forest transfer Andrew Carr, who had 17 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 assists. The Wildcats are gelling quickly for a team that has not played together for very long, and with a 3-0 record and a win over a top 10 team already in the books, Pope's tenure in Lexington is off to a fantastic start. Credit to Tommy Lloyd and Arizona for being willing to go play a true road game against a formidable Big Ten opponent in Wisconsin. Not a lot of high major teams are willing to do so. This game is proof of why, as Arizona was flummoxed all game long by an energized and inspired Badgers club, led by John Tunge, who dropped 41 points, including an astonishing 21-22 from the free throw line. The Wildcats are a potent offensive club, but giving up 103 points is rarely going to lead to victories, and will need to be cleaned up if they want to compete for a top 3 spot in the Big 12. Another epic game in a true home environment. Purdue was able to secure a huge victory over No. 2 Alabama at Mackey Arena on Friday evening, winning 87-78. The game was close throughout, but a stretch of back-to-back-to-back made threes from unheralded freshman C.J. Cox in the second half gave the Boilermakers the momentum needed to pull out a win. The loss isn't a huge deal for Alabama, although the defense remains a concern for Nate Oates' team, not to mention uncharacteristically rough three-point shooting through 3 games. Ohio State started the season strong with a win over their No. 19 Texas and a blowout win over Youngstown State, but fell on the road Friday to Texas A&M 78-64. The return of Bruce Thornton has been fantastic for coach Jake Diebler and the Buckeyes, but the 2 sophomore big men added in the transfer portal, Sean Stewart from Duke and Aaron Bradshaw from Kentucky, have not had the breakout seasons many were hoping for. Stewart had 1 point on 0-3 shooting in 18 minutes against A&M, while Bradshaw had 7 points and 6 rebounds on 3-10 shooting and 0-3 from beyond the arc. If those 2 start to tap into their sky-high potential, this team could be a major player in the Big Ten. Indiana played 2 cupcakes to start the season and were coming into Saturday's game against South Carolina with one of the weakest strengths of schedule in the country. The Hoosiers quickly proved they deserved their spot in the top 25, however, cruising past the Gamecocks with an 87-71 victory. NBA scouts were in attendance to check out South Carolina's Colin Murray-Boyles, but they left with a lot more positive notes about Hoosiers' sophomore wing Mackenzie Mbako, who had 17 points and 7 rebounds on 5-8 shooting in an incredibly well-rounded performance. Mike Woodson's team will face tough tests in Feast Week, facing Louisville, and then either Gonzaga or West Virginia in the battle for Atlantis. Kansas State spent more money than just about everyone in the transfer portal this offseason, finally had everyone healthy for a home game against a team picked to finish 14th in the SEC, and got ran out of their own gym in a 76-65 loss to LSU on Thursday. Coleman Hawkins had 8 points on 3-10 shooting. Brendan Hausen had 8 points. Ugonna Onyenso played just 5 minutes. Akra Eko had 2 points on 1-4 shooting in his first game of the season. Overall, a very disappointing showing from this new-look club. Jerome Tang should get this team back on track as the season goes on, but competing for a top 7 to 8 spot in the Big 12 is a major challenge, and this kind of loss hurts the resume if the Wildcats end up on the bubble.